Television. It's another honor series of the Citi Business Festival 2026. We're actually still in our second week looking at the key drivers of the Ghanaian economy, what the high impact sectors are and the opportunities therein. Today we are looking at agribusiness and agro-processing. We are starting from the farm, take you to the factory and what the export market also looks like. My guest is William Nettey. He is head of agribusiness at ABSA Bank. The 2026 edition of the Citi Business Festival is powered by 97.3 Citi FM as well as Channel 1 Television in partnership with ABSA Bank. We are proudly sponsored by ABSA Bank, MTN, Zondatech Ghana Limited and Petra Trust. I am Ni Lati, by the way, and welcome.
You need a bigger space to grow your business. You need to be ready for any season.
You need faster checkouts for these busy days.
You need more equipment to meet demand.
You need to make sure everyone gets paid on time.
In business, you need advice, solutions, and sector expertise when it matters.
Your new office space looks great. What's next?
We get it. ABSA Business Banking.
Many thanks indeed for your time once again. Today we are helping you understand how agribusiness functions as a connected system and the real opportunities that exist right now and what is required to make it commercially viable. And I told you my guest is the head of agribusiness at ABSA Bank, Mr. William Nettey. Mr. Nettey, thank you for joining us again.
Thank you.
We met last year. Yeah, good to have you again. We're looking at financing agribusiness. This time around there's a bit of, tweaking to the conversation. Right. We are looking at agro-processing and everything in between. So in the next 30 minutes, you really unpack that for us. But really, is there a difference between agribusiness and agro-processing?
All right. So generally, agribusiness refers to all the activities that happen within the agri space. Okay. And it starts right from the, from where you have inputs coming in their raw state, nothing has been done. It cannot produce, it cannot be food itself, but it has to be converted. So then it goes into the production where, farmers or various actors within the chain go into production. Then after production, it has to be moved to, consumers. So we have, depending on how you produce, we can get into aggregation. In Ghana, we have quite a sizable amount of people doing smallholder farms, and that is what we aggregate to get the volumes. So that has to be aggregated, that has to be moved to the next level. Processing comes in when we want to add value, because if you don't, you have post harvest losses, and which can be high. In this country, you can get as high as 50% post-harvest losses on the farm because of bad storage and all of that. So then we move on to the agro-processing bit, which is adding value, and that requires a lot more activity to put it in a state that would preserve it for a longer time, allow you to move it to various, whether in country or outside the country, and then be able to sell. And it also depends on who is buying from you and the requirement. So the processing bit can be very specific and can be it can take a bit of time and effort to get it at the right position. Yeah.
Amazing. So agribusiness is like the entire value chain.
Yes,
the commercial bit of it, the ecosystem. But agri-processing is just a specific part of it.
Yes.
That has to do with, let's say, value addition,
adding value,
storage,
yes.
and also reducing transportation and reducing post-harvest losses.
Everything is
amazing. So why is the agri-processing bit a very important aspect of the whole value chain? Because of its important role. Usually we talk about agribusiness. Well, let's put hoes and cutlasses together. Let's farm something. Let's produce something. But more often than not, we leave the agro-processing bit where the value addition really comes in. This time around, why has it become so important for us to be talking about it?
It's very important. I mentioned earlier about the post-harvest losses.
50%.
So you can get even more than that. You can lose entire. I mean, once you harvest and you don't have a good storage, put it in the warehouse that is infested, you definitely have pests destroying your whole, crop. Even on the field, it can happen if you don't keep it well. So it's very important that you go into beyond the harvesting and getting the produce. You go into some sort of preservation. It allows you time to store it. It allows you to be able to move it to various destinations. It just improves the quality of the produce that you have, and that should fetch you a lot more once you've added value to it. And it's through the agro-processing bit that allows you to do that.
But I was expecting to hear finance. Does it also play a role?
Financing will come in when we talk about the equipment that we are importing. So we have what we call commercial asset financing, where people are bringing in equipment. How do you get money to your supplier from China or from Europe or anywhere else? So it's important. Finance plays in this area. When these equipment have come in and you are processing, how do you get working capital? So we have various kinds of working capital solutions that we deploy to, even to the extent that the workers that are working for you would need some financing. So the bank goes on to look at financing also for even the staff. It's a total package that the bank provides to agribusinesses to ensure that business can go on.
You are still listening to the Honor Series of the Citi Business Festival 2026. My guest today is William Nettey, Head of Agribusiness at ABSA Bank, really helping us appreciate the transition from agribusiness to agro-processing, how the banks come in to finance, and how stability in the economy matters. Stay with us here. We'll be back with more.
Looking for power, performance, or pure driving comfort? Looking for strength for your business or style for your lifestyle? Welcome to Zondertech Ghana Limited, your one-stop automobile shop. From heavy-duty trucks built with global powerhouse Sinotrack to premium SUVs and pickups from Great Wall Motors and Cherry. From light-duty commercial trucks to world-class construction equipment from Shantui and Sunny Group, Zondertech delivers topmost quality brands with affordable luxury. Zondertech gives you power, prestige, and performance all in one place. Strong, reliable, affordable. Zondertech Ghana Limited, drive the future. Call Zondatech on 050-177-2222 or 050-177-3333.
Still, Misaka, and Nemu was a summer brabo, and it can afford swab.
Misaka pensions, Caro.
Misaka order Sika.
Misaka
insurance.
Misaka loan.
Momo Fogosuri ye echumaden, diaboye nyina ye sika ho ban. Se MTN ana momo jumaye ni befrewa or the 0244 300,000 ene befrew. Na numpo orin bitsaw one time password ana se upin code enti wonso ye wa femu die na ma weni na ho na wonsa enka wo momo.
You're welcome back. Many thanks indeed for staying with us here on the Honor Series City Business Festival 2026. I'm still in studio with William Nettey, Head of Agribusiness at ABSA Bank. I am Latte. Mr. Nettey, let's continue from where you left off before we went on that break. From what I know, we lose about $1.9 billion annually to post-harvest losses alone. And you've mentioned that more than 50% of, a lot of the things that people produce or our farmers produce go waste because we have not been able to add value to it. So 2 quick questions for you, 2 in 1, by the way. What areas should we be looking at if we really want to scale up the agro-processing bit of our agricultural value chain, and how do we even de-risk the sector?
All right, so scaling up, I think it's important. Like I mentioned, if we are to continue to, deal with smallholders, then it would always be that we, have to go through the whole motions again, aggregation and all that. We need to scale up in various areas to ensure that, we are getting the volumes that industry requires. And so the production levels have to go up. And by that, we mean that getting quality inputs, getting the financing needed, getting support, getting the technical know-how, and all of that to ensure that our production can go up. The levels at which we produce in this country is quite low if you compare that to other countries. So for us to be commercial or be commercially viable in the production of some of these commodities, we have to ensure that we have these things in place. Once we have produced, we need to look at the processing bit. The processing bit, when you add value to some of the crops, you are able to increase the level of labor you take from like 1 to 10 or even 1 to 20 in some instances.
In as much as there are prospects, I also see a myriad of challenges. And in terms of the risk in the sector, I really want to find out from you how different the financing from an agribusiness is from agri-processing, or they are basically the same?
They are not the same.
Okay.
They are not the same. So financing, because financing agribusinesses entails a lot and it cuts across the whole value chain, there are various, differences. I mean, if somebody is financing inputs, okay, the inputs would come in once you know your supplier, you know the quality, and you buy, you are spot on. When you finance, let's say production, you know the risk involved, so you know how you structure it. If I'm financing a tomato farm and it will take 3 months to be ready, the gestation is 3 months, then I know that within that period there's no money coming, and then I structure it like that. So the financing are different. When it comes to agro-processing, you are talking about producing for a specific market. These markets may be in the US, it may be in the UK or Europe somewhere or elsewhere. there are specific standards that these countries, apply to the sort of products that have to come into their country. So they would be, expecting you to meet those requirements. If you are not able to meet those requirements, then it becomes a challenge. Your whole shipment can be refused, and that will cost you a fortune. These standards are made available. We have HACCP, we have Global Gap, we have the British Global Standards. All these standards are there, and they guide the way you have to produce. The workplace, the people involved, the shop floor, every one of them has specific requirements. Even within that is the one that the Standards Board would also, and then the FDA would also bring along to make sure that you are meeting specific standards, because at this point it's going to another country. And then the financing would follow. If you finance an agro processor and then he gets it wrong, there's some contamination in the food, or there's some pest, or there's anything within the food chain, and it gets out there, it becomes a loss to the. So the risk there has to be really considered carefully before financing.
Indeed, but you'd mentioned that there are some crops we really want to focus more if we want to, scale up our game. Yeah. Do you have on top of your head, let's say 5 crops we should be considering?
Oh, yeah. So we know the crops that do well for us when it comes to. I would focus more on the ones that we export a bit. So we do cocoa. Everybody knows cocoa.
Okay.
But now we need to add value. We are adding value to semi-processed cocoa. So we have a few factories that are doing that, linked up to farmer groups and all of that. And that has been significant in the exports that we do. I mean, we all know that Ghana is second when it comes to cocoa export. But we can't continue exporting the cocoa in the raw form. So that has to be done, and that's a major income level to the country. We do cashew, and I must say again that for us, what I think has to be done is the level of production. Okay. Our levels of production is still very low when you compare to countries around us, and so that has to be improved. And we had a lot of cashew companies. Some of them have gone down. A few of them are coming up and now going to semi-processed, and then they can ship. And I think that has to be done. I mean, if you export a raw cashew, okay, and you process a cashew and you sell it, the difference is significant. It's like three times what you get from the process, even a semi-processed, and it can go as far as like 6 times when it's fully processed. So the pricing even becomes something. We look at share. I mean, share. There are not many countries that do share. We are a strong share, producing country. But over the years, our women and our children, it has provided employment for them. They have picked these share nuts. We've exported them. If we looked at producing that in large quantities, we should be fine with that. We are looking at yam. Even yam has become very significant, and Ghana, we need to push that. We have the fruits that we produce, so mangoes, that goes to Europe and all of that. We look at these because we have comparative advantage over so many countries. I mean, you have the good weather, you have the water across the country. We should be able to increase productivity in this area. So these are a few of the crops.
So cocoa, cashew, share, yam, which I find very interesting.
Oh yeah.
And also fruits.
Yes. And we do vegetables.
Okay,
so,
vegetables.
We do vegetables, but still very, we are not producing at that level that, and so those are some of the areas that we need to look at.
Very well, but I really want us to talk about what ABSA is doing as a game changer for agribusiness in Ghana.
As we go into this year, we are looking at how best we can continue to support agribusinesses with working capital. We are looking at how best we can bring in risk mitigation for some of these farmers to increase productivity. We are looking on how we can even support fintechs that are working with smallholders, so they are closer to the smallholders. We are looking at how we can work with financial institutions that are closer to agribusinesses on the ground, and then support them to be able to get financing going down to these agribusinesses. So on the whole, we see this year to be a stepping stone, and we are going to launch out strongly as we go on. But we'll provide the equipment financing, we'll provide working capital, we'll provide guarantees for businesses, we'll provide project financing and all of that to support. And even beyond that, I mentioned how to support the workers within companies.
All right, thank you very much, William Nettey, Head of Agribusiness at ABSA Bank, for laying out the agricultural value chain for us here on the Citi Business Festival Honors Series. Now, what I want to do now is to allow us hear from a company or someone who is adding value to raw agricultural produce and then turning them into finished products, after which they export. I'm talking about Praise Export Services Limited. They are working right in the middle of the value chain. You watch this. We talk a lot about agro-processing, value addition and exports here in Ghana. But all of these elements that I have mentioned must certainly become a product. This product must also find its way onto the market, which is why today we are here at one of the leading exporters of processed food in the country. I'm talking about Praise Export Services Limited here in Pukwase in the Greater Accra region. As part of the Citi Business Festival Honors Series, we are here today to find out exactly what they do and how they are also helping and contributing to the agribusiness industry right here in Ghana. Come with me. So like I mentioned, Praise Export Services Limited is one of the companies in the thick of things when it comes to agro-processing, adding value and then exporting some of the non-traditional items we have here in the country. And I'm very happy to have one of their managers talk to me here about what they currently do and how they are also trying as much as possible in their own small way revamp the agribusiness sector of the country. So I just want to know who I have here with me, who is going to walk us through the kind of things they do here at Praise Export Services Limited. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
You're welcome.
And then also to the honors series of the Citi Business Festival 2026. What do you do here? Who are you in the first place?
Thank you. We are glad to have you here. My name is Mark Safani, and I'm responsible for training and compliance in Praise Export Services Limited.
Mark, thank you so much for allowing us into your premises. So when we say Praise Export Services Limited, really, you guys, what do you do?
Well, Praise Export Services is an agro-processing company that produces non-traditional items, food items for exports into the diaspora and beyond. And so we are into the production of palm oil, production of palm-based products, cereals and grains, and also in the flour mills. These are categories of products we have that we produce and export to the Western markets and beyond.
I see. So how long have you been in this business, and how did you even start in the first place? Is it that you were doing production and later added export to it, or it started simultaneously?
Thank you. It's been an interesting journey, really, because Praise started in 1994 officially And the motivation came from the MD who spent some time outside in a food store and looking at how farm produce were perishing on the market, felt that there was a need to do some value addition. But initially, when he came down after studies, the company started with the buying and selling of farm produce, the raw farm produce, plantain, yam, and stuff. So that is what the company started with, and continued with exports into the US, the UK, and some other parts of the world. But somewhere along the line, there was that strong need to do value addition because the value of the products, the farm produce, were very low, and then they were also high risk because they were very perishable. So the need to invest into equipment to do value addition came about, and that was in the early 2000s, where Praise ventured into full-fledged agro-processing and exports.
So from what you are saying, you don't do any business here in Ghana. Whatever is processed here, straight outside the country, export. But you've mentioned UK and US as two of the countries that you export to.
Yeah.
Are they the only countries or there are others?
No. We do exports into the UK, the US, Canada, Australia, and then we're also trying some other new markets.
Okay.
In the United Arab Emirates. We are looking at Africa with the coming up of AFTA. We're looking at some new markets in Africa as well. So we are gradually expanding.
So you don't sell in Ghana, but you produce and source your local products here in the country.
Exactly.
So do you source from farmers, aggregators, cooperative unions? I just want to have a sense of how you get your raw material since you don't sell in the country.
I see. Yeah, so we have a mix. We source from both individual farmers and then aggregators as well.
Okay.
Yes, all the products we deal in, we source from both aggregators and individual farmers.
I see. Which areas? Southern parts of the country, middle belt, the northern parts of the country? Where?
So depending on the product, but mostly it's in the central and then the eastern corridors.
Okay.
This is where most of our raw materials come from. And then we have bits and pieces flowing in from the Volta as well.
Oh, so your raw materials would be like palm nut and what?
So we have palm nuts, we have palm oil,
okay.
We have plantain, the plantain fruits, we have cocoyam, we have gari, we have cassava chips, we have groundnuts, maize, I mean, just name them.
Okay. So we are still here at Praise Export Services Limited. Mark is the head of training and compliance, and he's talking to me about some of the great things they are doing in terms of value addition and agro processing. So Mark, you've taken us through what you guys do basically, but this time around, be more specific about the product mix that you have. I have seen palm nuts here. I do not think that that's the only thing you produce. So what else do you have? So you produce...
So thank you. Yes, we do. There are three main product categories. There's the palm category, there's the oil category, and then there's the flour and meals category. So with the palm category, we have palm cream, plain palm cream paste. We have palm cream with herbs. It comes with the kak spices and then turkey berries. And then we have palm cream with onion ginger flavor. So these are the three variants of palm cream that we have.
The raw one means that there's nothing
there's
in
nothing
it.
in it, just
the plain.
The plain base, yes.
Then we have one with herbs.
Yes.
And then also the one with onions and ginger.
Yeah.
Okay. So apart from this, what else do you have here?
So we have the oil section, which also handles palm oil, basically the ordinary palm oil, and then the Zomi palm oil.
Okay.
These are the two variants we have with the oil section.
So that's the oil and palm section.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now cereals, right?
Cereals. We have Tom Brown. We have Hausa cocoa flour. We have Gari. We have Banku mix. We have plantain and cocoyam fufu flour. Yes.
So I know financial institutions have come in to help you, like institutions like ABSA, for example. They have been supporting you. Really.
Yeah.
What does the support from ABSA, for example, do to you as a business? What does it change, and how does it help you?
Okay, I think we'll use this opportunity to thank ABSA Bank very much, because the inflows that came helped us to do a number of things. Some years back, this place wasn't like this. What came in helped us to expand structurally. So we did put up new halls to help with the processing. So when you see the hall behind us, That's the new canning hall, the storage area that is just adjacent the new canning hall, and then the storage area here for finished products. We also have a staff canteen. These are things that came out of the funding that we received from ABSA. We've also been able to acquire a number of equipment. You saw an electric forklift running around, 2 of them actually. All these are also out of the support we gained from ABSA. Today, we are able to provide our staff with 1 hot meal a day. It's also as a result of the funding we received from ABSA. And to also mention that it came at a very good rate. And so there wasn't so much pressure on our finances.
Well, amazing. But Mark, you know, it's one thing to just produce and then export, and it's another thing to produce best fit for the international market. So what would you say is that one thing that people do not avert their minds to when it comes to producing something good enough for the international market?
Thank you. Yeah, one key thing in that regard has to do with standards.
Okay.
And standards for the export market, it's a no playground, let me put it that way. If you really want to do business in the export field, then you should be somebody who is very critical about standards. And that has been one of the key challenges, because with the markets we deal in, standards keep changing every now and then. You may sleep today, rise up tomorrow, and there's a new standard on the block. But you will have to meet that before you can send your items out there. So standardization is a key issue in this field.
So from what you say, if anyone is watching and listening, that person wants to go into agro-processing, exports, and all that, I take it as you need to get your expertise, you need to get your equipment, and also sort out your standards to enable you sail through this whole business that we are talking about. Thank you so much, Mark. I'll be speaking to the head of training and compliance at Praise Export Services Limited as part of our honor series of the Citi Business Festival 2026. I am Ni Latte. So we've actually heard from William Nettey and also seen what it looks like when it comes to agro-processing, taking you to the Praise Export Services Limited at Pokwase here in Accra. But this has been another exciting edition of the honor series of the Citi Business Festival, which is powered by 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 Television in partnership with ABSA Bank. We are proudly sponsored by ABSA Bank, MTN, Zonda Ghana Limited, and Petra Trust. I'm Ni Latte. Many thanks indeed for watching and listening.